Hello guys, and welcome back to another video on the J Gormley 67 YouTube channel. It feels like an absolute eternity since the last time I filmed a video in my room talking about the games, about like anything, but I'm finally back. Today I'm going to do my SPFL predictions. I did one last year, as you may know. You know what, thinking when I look back at it, it actually went quite good. I predicted first place, Celtic obviously, but let's get right into the video. So, in 12th place, I've gone with St Johnstone. St Johnstone, 11th place last season. I can't really see them doing very much. They had to let go of a lot of players at the start of this last season, but I cannot see St Johnstone improving. And I genuinely, I feel like St Johnstone are going to get relegated. But let's move on to 11th place. 11th place I've gone with Ross County. I think Ross County were pushing above their weight last season, especially letting go of Regan Charles Cook this summer. It's going to be a huge blow for County because he was one of the top goal scorers in the Premiership last season. I don't think they'll recover from that. I think a lot of games were won by him, but I do think they will not get relegated. I do think they would win the Premiership playoff, but I think they will still finish 11th place. Now moving on to 10th. Caps off now. In 10th place, I've gone with St Mirren. St Mirren, I've not seen very many signings from St Mirren this summer, and they've not had a great run since Jim Goodwin left and Steve Robinson came in to replace. But honestly thinking, I don't see St Mirren. I think they will survive relegation, but I cannot see St Mirren doing very much this season. Some people will say otherwise. I know they had a great season the season before last. I think that was one of their highest ever finishes. But I genuinely can't see anything positive from St Mirren. I do think they will avoid the relegation drop, but I don't think they will do very well. Now moving on to 9th place. In 9th place, I've gone with Livingston. Livingston are one of those teams that seem to do really well against Celtic most of the time and do absolutely dug the other weeks that they play. They do nothing the other weeks that they play, but as soon as they come up against us, they always do something. But I do think Livingston are a decent team. They are a very small club in the top flight, but I do think what they managed to do with a lot of their, I know they've got a half decent team. A lot of people were thinking they're going to get relegated. I can't see that, to be honest. I can't see Livingston going down. I do think they will get 9th place this season. So let's move on to our 8th place. In 8th place in this SPFL season, I've gone with Kilmarnock. Kelly won the championship last season, which they beat Arbroath in the second last days to secure it with a last minute winner. I do think Kelly, they've got Kyle Lafferty up front. I think Kelly will do really well this season. I could see them taking points off Celtic and Rangers. They actually took a lot of points off Celtic and Rangers in the previous years. Both Celtic and Rangers have suffered defeats at Rugby Park in recent times, especially pre-COVID. But I genuinely just see Kelly. I think they'll come up and I think they'll actually do a half decent job, and I feel like 8th place will be quite good for them, and then they'll build themselves up and keep moving from there. In 7th place, I've gone with Motherwell. Honestly, I went to the Motherwell game last week where they lost to Sligo Rovers, and I vlogged it and you would have seen my video, but my god, Motherwell had an absolute shocker. I do, in a way, because I'm making this before the second leg, they could come back, but based off that result, and obviously it could be a fluke, but you never actually know, because Motherwell did have a lot of chances. I've also noticed in previous parents they seem to do really well in one season, and then the season after they will plummet down to like the bottom half of the table. But to be honest with Motherwell, I think they'll not be fighting a relegation battle. They will be fighting for top six, but I think they will narrowly miss out on top six, and they will be fighting probably with Hibs, who I put six, which I'm now going to move on to in a minute, and they'll be battling with them for the sixth place spot. So obviously in six, I put Hibs, as I said a second ago. Hibs are a team that need to recover from a shocker of a season last season, and I do think with Lee Johnstone as their manager, I feel like it's quite a bold move going for Lee Johnstone, because not a lot of people had heard of him, but it was a bit like Ange Postecoglou. Everyone doubted him at first, but he might actually pull off something. I do think they will get back into the top six position, but I cannot see them pushing anywhere above sixth place. But I do feel like it's a solid finish for Hibs, and yeah, I do feel like, I hope Hibs do the best that they can this season, but I do feel like Hibs have a solid side that should be doing well. I could see them, to be honest, I could see them pushing for fourth or fifth, but I'm going with six at the moment. So let's get on to my fifth place prediction. In fifth place, I've gone for Aberdeen. Aberdeen had an absolute shocker of a season last season, and I do feel like they will recover, because they have made quite a few signings, and I do feel like they always do quite well against Celtic and Rangers, but they were unlucky not to get a win this season, because I think they got 2 draws with Rangers and then a 1-0 loss at Ibrox, and then they also managed to get a good couple games where they took us very tightly. But to be honest, I can't see Aberdeen doing very much. Honestly, can't. I think Aberdeen, I feel like they will get Europe next season. I can't see them getting into the other positions. I just can't see it. To be honest, I can't see them getting any higher than fifth place. But let's move on to our fourth place side. Fourth place, I call my Hearts. Hearts, I do feel like will drop off a bit. They started off with an absolute flyer last season. They beat us 2-1. Can't argue with that for Hearts. But to be brutally honest, I can't see much happening with Hearts. Actually, I don't. I can't see much happening with Hearts. I do feel like they will do well in Europe, and I also think them doing well in Europe will have a back-on effect with the league. So I do think they will lose a position in the league, but that's no bad considering the fact I don't think it will be a huge downfall. It will be a slight drop, slight wee dip, but I do feel like they might get back to third place the season after next. So let's move on to my third place side. So in third place, I've gone with Dundee United. I do think Dundee United were very, very good last season, and considering the fact they get fourth, you cannot argue with that. Dundee United get fourth place, especially after only coming up 2 seasons ago. But to be fair to them, I do feel like with them signing Dylan Levitt, I'm now actually starting to think, I think they'll actually squeeze into third, especially because Hearts will be in a European group stage. Mind, Dundee United could still get to a European group stage. I feel like if they do, then it might be a battle between them and Hearts for this spot, but I do feel like they won't get into a European group stage, and I do feel like they will get third next season, and they'll be straight into a European group stage next season. But without further ado, I've done this, so now let's move on to our second and first place spot. So in second place, I've gone with Rangers. Rangers, even though they had Europe in their hands, I do think they slipped up too much in the league this season, and I also feel like they will continue to do that on to next season. They seem to always slip up after the January break, which seems to have happened in every single season that there's been a January break. Obviously in the COVID season, there was no January break, so they almost seemed to get off of a flyer, and especially because there'll be the massive World Cup break, I could see a big dip for Rangers. But to be fair to them, I do think they will still retain second spot, but I cannot see them pushing for first. Actually, no, they will push for first, but I don't think they will beat us, which is why I'm going on to Celtic first place. What Ange Postecoglou did last season and what he's continuing to do this season looks like a solid side. More players coming in to strengthen the side that we already had. He's had 3 windows so far and they've all been absolutely top notch, all successful. He's signed 5 players in January. He's signed, I don't know how many players last summer. He signed 4 brand new players this summer, not including Jota and Carter Vickers. So with more players coming into the team, I honestly think Celtic will absolutely win this league title. I've got no doubts about it. I'm sure Celtic will win it, and I'm sure next May, 27th of May next year, you'll be seeing Celtic lift the Scottish Premiership title for the 53rd time. But thank you very much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm like 70 off. If you can drop a subscribe, leave a like in the video, and yeah, I'll hopefully be back shortly. I meant to say at the start, I will miss the Celtic versus Aberdeen game on Sunday because I'm on holiday. Just unfortunately, that's the time when it happened. I'm on holiday when that game is on. So my first home game on the vlogs will be Heart of Midlothian on the 20th of August. But without further ado, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next J Gormley 67 YouTube video. Bye.